Is there anyone listening to me now? Anybody with two actively working and operational neurons and synapses? Is there anyone who believes for a moment or believed for a moment that Joe Biden, Pops Biden, would not pardon his evil seed and spawn, meth hunter, crack hunter, the syphilitic, vile weapons felon, Burisma fraud? Is there anyone around today surprised in the least? Anyone? Is anyone even remotely surprised, shocked, bemused? Anybody? Is there anyone? No, absolutely not. Nobody is thinking this. Nobody is surprised. Nobody is shocked. Nobody. We knew this was happening absolutely, positively, 100%. He is a liar. This is the most, this is one of those news stories where I hate to say it. It doesn't even matter. Nobody is shocked in the least. Nobody. I can't even pretend. It's like this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. What do you want from these people? Remember this dingbat? Remember this one? This was my favorite. Remember her? Remember this one?
The president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Is anyone? Of course. I'm going to ask you another question. Is there anyone here who would be able to pardon their own son? Is there anyone who wouldn't do it? Anyone? Is there anyone here? I would. You would. All of us would. Do you understand this? So while we say, oh, this is horrible and terrible, all of us would pardon this pilgrim. I would pardon you. Good morning. It's 42 degrees and we're having fun. Absolutely. Right now in New York, it's 33. A little bit chilly, but thank you. Who would not pardon their son? Who would not? Anybody tell me? Tell me who? Anybody? No matter what your son did, who would not do it? Anybody? Come on. Anybody? Of course not. Anybody? Of course not. And you want to, if you're going to pardon him, you want to pardon him all the way back to 2014 for the Burisma. You want to cover everything. You're not going to do part and parcel that we'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Come on. Now, let me tell you what I would do. First, if I'm the president and they ask me, can you tell me that the president would not, and the answer is no. The president cannot possibly tell you ahead of time what he is going to do. This is for anybody. January 6th, people charged with drug offenses. No, he cannot do this. It is the policy of the president never to unequivocally or to a matter of factly dispute, eliminate, whatever you want to call it, any possibility of this. Nobody is going to do this. No one. And if your child, here's a good one too. Lisa says, if my son was diddling kids, no. Really? You wouldn't say, my son has a problem. My son is mentally ill. My son has suffered from whatever. Or maybe to commute the sentence. Or, remember, pardon, you can commute the sentence. You can waive fines. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can pardon. You can commute. You can clemency, leniency. You can do all kinds of things. I have an absolutely 100%, 100%. I mean, I a sense of loyalty to family. I plead guilty. 100% loyalty. And there's ways to frame it, but I am not going to take anybody in my family and put them in the system where they would be targeted more for. No, of course not. No, we've got to be honest here. We've got to be honest. We've got to look at this. Now, the next thing President Trump should do is he has to pardon every one of the January 6th folks. We've got to have an accounting now. Are they there? Are they are these folks, how do I say this? Are they even accounted for? Are they accounted for? Are they accounted for? Do we know where they are? That's the first thing President Trump must do. But let me ask you something. If you were the president of the United States and you've this absolute blanket, yes or no, does there exist a charge in which you would not pardon or do something? Pardon may be a bit too extreme. Commute the sentence, cut the sentence in half, do something. Are you telling me that there exists something where you would absolutely not touch anything involving your child, your son, your daughter? Is that true? Do you have anything? Anybody? Does there exist? That's all we see. Nope. Sorry. Serial murder. So serial murder. If your son is treason, you're never going to hear treason again. Treason, you're never, ever, ever, ever going to hear another case of treason ever again. Treason is never even charged. It's never even charged. They charge espionage today. This is the most important thing in the world. There was an issue a while back. Remember when a brother or somebody, it was Ted Kaczynski. It was Ted Kaczynski. I think it wasn't the brother, it was the sister of the brother. And the sister turned Ted Kaczynski in or did something. That's a little bit different. Pilgrim says, I want them charged just to have it on the record. Okay, what good does that do? What do you do this? Now, remember, Joe Biden, the next question is, and nobody can answer this, and this is this is an absolute story. Let me ask you something. Do you believe if a serial killer goes to a priest, a rabbi, an imam, and seeks forgiveness from a priest, Bless me, Father, I have sinned. It has been whatever since my last reconciliation. I think they call it now, or confession. These are my sins. I'm a serial killer. I'm sorry. I'm not going to turn myself in, but I already did this. I'm not going to do it again. Do you forgive me? Do you believe that a priest today, under the rules, should hear the confession of a serial killer, absolve the serial killer pursuant to the rules of the Catholic Church, and then never turn that person in again? Yes or no? This is it. This is interesting. Happy Love says, if your father has the ability to pardon you and does not, no, you pardon your kid. No question. Of course. Of course. Of course. So you were saying, now remember something, when you say no, let me just say something just for whatever it's worth. When you say no, and we read this 30 seconds later, I don't know what that means. No, no what? I've asked 50 different questions. I don't know what the no is. But the question is, do you believe in the notion? This is important. This is critical. Do you believe that a Catholic priest in particular, pursuant to the notion of what it is, God's redemption, God's forgiveness, ask for this? Do you believe in that? Do you? Yes. You absolutely do that. Yes. This is the foundation of religion. Yes. And that priest should not be held accountable for not turning that person in. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. That's not my thing. I'm not here to seek justice. I'm not here to, no, I've got somebody. Now, what I do in the meantime, how I handle it is a little bit of a different question. But of course, there's different things that we can do. Loads of things, all kinds of involuntary commitment for psyche and whatever it is. We can figure this out. But a pardon goes, absolutely. 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 Your family? Nah. We always talk about this thing called loyalty. Loyalty. What does loyalty mean? Am I supposed to be the arbiter of truth? No. The bottom line is simply this. Joe Biden is a liar. He pardoned his son to pardon him. Is he going to pardon his brother? What about his brother? They're coming too. Everybody in his family who was a part of that Burisma, the LLCs and all that, they have to do it. Absolutely. 100%. You're going to see all of this. Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich. Did you hear what Trump did regarding Jared Kushner's father? Did you hear that one? Did you? You want to go through that one? That's a beaut. You're going to love this one. Jared, and now he's going to be the ambassador to France. Jared Kushner's father. You're going to love this one. Charles Kushner. Yep. Remember this story? Because your father, ambassador to France. Do you remember this one? This was one of these, let me see. Jared's father. And who was it who went after him? Chris Christie. Chris Christie. You understand this? And Trump wants pardoned real estate. But this is Jared's father. He was pardoned by Trump in 2020 after pleading guilty years earlier to tax evasion and making illegal campaign donations. Prosecutors allege that Charles Kushner discovered his brother-in-law was cooperating with federal authorities in an investigation. He hatched a scheme for revenge and intimidation. Kushner, this is Jared's father, hired a prostitute to lure his brother-in-law, then arranged to have the encounter in a New Jersey motel room recorded with a hidden camera, and the recording sent to his own sister, the man's wife. Kushner eventually pleaded guilty to 18 counts, including tax evasion and witness tampering. He was sentenced in 2005 to 2 years in prison, the most he could receive under a plea deal, but less than what Chris Christie, who was the U.S. attorney for New Jersey at the time, wanted. Now, Christie blamed Jared Kushner for firing him from Trump's transition team and whatever. Now, let me ask you this. If this were Trump, if you were Trump, would you have pardoned, set up his sister, ruin their family, set up his brother-in-law, assuming all this to be true? Would you? Trump had no problem with it. Of course I did. Pardon it. Doesn't mean you like it. Doesn't mean, hey, nothing wrong with it. It means I have this absolute authority by virtue of my position. And this is without a doubt. It is, what is the word? It is, by the way, make sure you sign up for my newsletter. I got one coming up today. Make sure you always sign up for this, which is very, very critical. But let me just put it to you very, very, very simply. I have these friends of mine, they get so upset. I have my friend, he's the big lib. He said, what do you think about this? I said, of course, it's family. Of course. Look at, just what a sniveling shit Hunter's father was. My God. Doesn't that just blow your mind? Can you imagine doing that to your sister? And Biden says, today I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making. And I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Que cojones. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Could be. And I'm going to wait for a second. You're not going to like what I say. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election, which is what they do to Trump with lawfare. So we know a little bit about this. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the DOJ unraveled in the courtroom with a member of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion that Hunter was singled out only because he's my son. And that is wrong. Now, we can go on and on. They wanted to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me. And there's no reason to believe it will stop here. Enough is enough. For my entire career, I have followed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now let's talk about this. This is exactly what they did to Trump. This is exactly what they did to Trump. Exactly. This is lawfare. Lawfare. And don't think that there isn't something. Biden may say, hey, listen, folks, you may not like this. This may come as a shock to you, but I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now, believe it or not, Trump and I have come to understand each other. You know, we met at the White House, 2 ex-presidents meeting. You don't ever see this. You don't see this. You have the current president, who is on his way out, meeting the president-elect, who has never been the president. It's only happened before with Grover Cleveland, and now this. So I sat down with an ex-president. I didn't have to show him where everything was. He knows exactly. You never hear this. Two people who understand. He, of course, is got a 2-timer, and President Trump is in the very exclusive 2-term lead. Obama, Bush W, Clinton. This is serious. All the others didn't do it. So I made a deal with him. I met with President Trump. And President Trump knows exactly how this is played. This is a brutal, awful, terrible game. So I made a deal with him. I'm going to pardon him. He's going to pardon me. Don't be surprised if that happens. Don't. Biden is through. If Biden could tell you, he says, I am so done with these people. You have no idea. I am so done. Listen to me. I am so done. This is what he's saying. He's done with the Democratic Party. Barack Obama's done with the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton is done. They can't be trusted. Did you hear what I said? Let me say this again. You're not listening. You're not listening. Because people are too much busy talking about, not you, but the rest of the country. He is saying, we can't trust these people. We're through with these people. We're done. I was hosed. Effed. Big time. Hillary. Big time. Look what they did to Barack Obama. George Clooney. George Clooney said, what did you do? What did you make me do? I went, I had to double cross. They're all double crossing each other. They're like rats. Rejoice. Rejoice in this. Rejoice. Trump's going to turn around and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that idea that you apparently agree with, and I'm going to apply it to myself. Because there's no way in the history of New York that somebody was charged with this stupid Alvin Bragg nonsense that the DOJ came. Lionel for president 2028. Not this country. But thank you. This is what President Trump's going to say. There is nothing that prohibits me from pardoning myself. Nothing. There's something called the Office of Legal Counsel. This is like the creme de la creme de la creme de la creme in the legal world. Nino Scalia was in charge of it, and it's a special department. They advise the president, and it's like the big shots. There is nothing that can reverse the absolute power. If you read it, it's very simple. In fact, I'm reading in this newsletter I've got going out today. I hope you sign up for it. I got that link right there. Let me read this to you. It said, it's pursuant to Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution. And you can read it, and I've got the actual pardon itself. And the question is, can you have a pocket pardon? Can you put this? It takes into account everything from 2014 through yesterday. So anything that he does now, federally, he's on his own. So Trump's going to turn around and say, I told you that they came after me with this ridiculous Alvin Bragg case, which doesn't even exist because this fellow named Colangelo from the Department of Justice. Listen to what I'm saying. He's in the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice. He takes a position to come to New York to work for the DA of New York. What? from the department, the DOJ in Washington, to come up with this cockamamie nonsense, which nobody understands. Nobody. So that case was after me. So using President Biden's own words, which the Democrats agree with, they have no problem with that. I'm going to use his words and I'm going to apply it to me. What do you say about that? What do you say about that? Next, in the civil case, and this is a civil case, what Tish James did, I don't even understand this. Not appraising the value of it. What? It's absolute nonsense. Nonsense. Okay? Nonsense, dear friends. It goes, how do I say this? It defies belief. Defies belief why they did that. January 6th. I don't know what that's about. So Trump is going to turn around and say, you know what? I'm going to pardon myself. Or for the ultimate F you, okay? And this is Biden saying, I've had it. I've had it. I've had it. Hillary's had it. Barack Obama's had it. This is the way you treat the highest levels. Look what they did to Kamala. Now, I know nobody cares about her, and I don't want you to expect. They took her and threw her out into the middle of the set. She wasn't able to do this. I know you don't care. I know you don't care. But they don't, they have no, put it this way. A serial killer, at least, is worried about getting caught. These people aren't even worried about getting caught. This branch didn't care about anything. Let me stop for you 1 second. Stop. I got to tell you this one thing right now. I just checked. They are extending. I think I didn't get the official approval, but they are extending the Black Friday sale. Dear God. At preparewithlionel.com. Go right now. Just check it. It says at the top, Black Friday. I don't know if it's today's Black Monday. What do you call it today? What Monday? Cyber Monday. Today's Cyber Monday. Preparewithlionel.com. Dear friend, dear friend. Oh my God. Now is the time. Get ready. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. Preparewithlionel.com. In fact, I'm looking at something right now which is very interesting. There are these oh God. These very interesting, how do I say this? Well, I'll just let you go check. Go check. Go check. Go check. Preparewithlionel.com. I don't have to explain to you why emergency food and preparing for disaster with these people, why it makes sense. Ryan says Biden pardoning his son, saying he was singled out by the justice system, is tantamount to agreeing with Trump that the entire system is political and corrupt. Thank you, Ryan. That's why never Trumpers like Joe Walsh are furious. We don't care about Joe Walsh. Unless he played with the Eagles and the James gang, we don't care about that. We don't. But your point is excellent. This is exactly what Trump is going to do. Trump is going to be saying right now, listen, don't take it from me. This is what he said. Crypto said, how is him pardoning him not the same as lawfare? And please read my previous chat. Oh, I will do that. I'm sorry. Thank you. I will do that. Just in a second. I'm sorry. Let me read this. I like that it says, Uncle Lenny, your hyperlinks are cut in half. My hyperlinks are cut in half. Where? Thank you. Let me see. Maybe I see. Let me see something here. Again, we need precision. We always need precision, dear friends. Let me see this. Maybe is this it? Let me see. Let me see something here. Do you mean for the newsletter? Maybe. Let me see. Maybe what that means. I don't know. Again, hyperlinks. Let me see this. Let me try this here. Let me try this. Let me see. Let me see if this works. Anyway, my friends. Again, I don't know what this means. I think that's what you mean. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Crypto. Let me try this one. See if this works. Does this work for you? I believe this one will work. Let me try this. Replace the pin. Is that what you mean? Again, if that's what you mean, I will check that. Thank you. Again, says thank you kindly, but I don't know if that's what you mean. Yes, the chat, the cutting room was also. Oh, thank you. Yes. Sometimes, sometimes it's weird. You put these things up and it gets chopped up. Okay, thank you. Now, here's what's really going to be hard for you to understand. You're not going to like this one. I agree with the president, Biden, when saying that this nonsense about going after Hunter for purposes of, and listen to me carefully, for purposes of the there was this thing a while back, red flag laws. And red flags are those laws which interfere with our ability to, for lack of a better word, that interferes with our ability to possess firearms with impunity. Okay? This is something which we have to make you aware of. I don't want somebody telling you or me that your ability to possess a firearm is not possible if you are a drug addict. That make any sense? I don't want to hear this. If you are a drug addict, if you are a drug addict, what? So that means that, let's say you go to a psychiatrist because you're depressed. You've had a loss in your family. Something terrible has happened. And somebody tells you you're depressed and therefore unable to possess a firearm. You're a veteran and you come back from the war and they tell you you are unable to possess a firearm. These are red flag laws. So believe it or not, the guy that represented Hunter at first, Abby Lowell or whatever his name was, he was actually using Second Amendment, how do I say this? Second Amendment protections and the like that affect to protect us. If that makes any sense to you? This is one of the most important things ever. I believe, very frankly, and you believe as well, that we have an unfettered right to possess firearms. And I don't want somebody coming along and saying, well, it's okay, provided you don't have a mental illness problem or a drug addiction problem, or maybe you've been committed to something, or maybe no, because then what they're going to do is they're going to say, just give this guy, maybe you had a DUI, take his guns away. Well, because you obviously have a drinking problem. Take his guns away because she took some time off because she's depressed. She's depressed. If you ever tried to get sometimes like a life insurance policy, and they tell you, hey, do you ever have any sleep apnea? Well, yeah, I want one time to get checked out. Oh, that's not good. Oh, sleep apnea. Okay. There goes your premium. Wait a minute. No, I'm fine. What? You sure you're okay? Yeah. They have these different things like you want to check like a like calcium scoring, for heart. That's always that's very interesting. You see, you may right now have low regular LDL levels, and your coronary arteries may be ready to they could be 99% occluded. I mean, that may be extensive or excessive, but you don't know this, because when you go to a doctor, they do an EKG, they do your blood work. We don't know. You could be just sitting there with a widowmaker or some low risk sending thing ready at any moment, some unstable plaque. You don't know. That's the part that gets you. You don't know. There are people who've had, major, heart attacks, and their blood levels are okay. I mean, there's nothing there's a lot more to it in any event. So you go and you have these tests done. And when you've done this, like, let's say you're scoring high, say, hey, great, I can say, well, guess what? Try getting life insurance or with a decent premium. You're on depressants. You've been an antidepressant. Why? Higher incidence of suicide. Wait a minute. I'm addressing this. Doesn't matter. So that's what they're going to do to you. And that's what they do all the time. You try to take something. Oh, God forbid God forbid. You ever had somebody in your family say, I had a client one time, and he said, they said, have you ever thought about harming yourself? And he thought about it. Have I thought about it versus I planned? Is there anybody here who has not thought about it? Where it's like, could I do it? Could I ever get to the point where I would think that is big? That's thinking about it. It's not planning it. It's thinking about it. Have I thought about life after death? Have I thought about, could I remarry after? Have I thought about if I could fly? You think a lot about it. Anyway, so somebody says this, and because nobody wants to be in any way caught by not turning somebody in, guess what? You do 24 to 72 hours as some kind of a psych ward, and for the rest of your life, there it is. And you say, wait a minute, I didn't. Let me tell you something. And so what? Then they want to take a gun from you because you dare to express yourself. I love the way we love this. If you or a loved one ever have any thoughts of, let me tell you something. You better be careful what you say and to whom. That's all I'm saying. Crypto says what you're talking about is dicey because the Emergency Act and Congress playing lawfare. Yes, absolutely. See, this is a world. Remember, in my world, I don't care what it should be, what makes the most sense. I'm a realist, to use the Mearsheimer term. I am a realist. And this is one of these things which is just, let me give you an example of something. Time out here. The other day, recently, friends, kids, whatever, were getting married. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I see this, I'm thinking, these people, it's a wonderful thing, but do they have any idea of what they're talking about? Getting married? Did they know what the legal part of this is? No, they don't. None. So what I'm saying is, I'm a realist. They go, you're so negative. No, I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. Here's another one for you. I love this one. When I hear people say, well, we're going to adopt, good for you. Do you know anything about these people? No. Do you know where you're going? Remember the old days? They would go, well, we're going to go to China. We're going to go to Russia. Do you know anything about these people? Do you know what you're getting? Do you know anything? Well, not really. But it's a beautiful looking baby. What if this is what if this is, who knows? Remember fetal alcohol syndrome used to be a big deal, and then there was all kinds of problems. Do you know what you're getting? This is you think, do you ever get a dog sometime? You go, what the hell is the matter with it? Normally you can tell right away. See, this is Nobody wants to ever talk about, what if you get the wrong kid? Stop ruining the beauty of adoption. Well, you better think about this. You better think about this. So when you want to talk about Biden and you want to talk about whatever, first of all, you should not in any way even pretend for a moment that you're surprised by this. That's number one. Number two, I would do the same thing if it were my son. And so would you. And number three, Trump's going to say, well, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. And don't be surprised if Biden pardons Trump. Biden's gone. He's done. He's finished. He's through with these people. He's got his money. He's got, and he's going to pardon all his other family members. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? This is this. We live in this namby-pamby kind of world of I got to tell you this also. This is another thing too. Today, Mrs. L is doing something. I want to tell you something where there was a wonderful program. I'm not going to give the specifics, but I can talk about what. There is a program for that Mrs. L created regarding art therapy. And it's her invention and she's partnered with somebody. We're not going to go into it. And it involves going and to this place and doing things and getting, snacks and food and getting there and meeting with these people and giving people, because the whole notion of people who have been involved in child abuse itself, name it, it lasts forever, unfortunately. And it involves actively participating in dealing with people. It's very rewarding. The one day, recently, we're telling you in the Far Rockaways, it was freezing. Right off the Atlantic, it was freezing that day. Handing people diapers, and they're looking at just like this is a swag bag from the Academy Awards or something. They're looking at this thinking, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Okay, so then there's these other people who walk around and they want to pretend, they want to go to Bedminster and Mar-a-Lago, and they want to pretend to say, we're the hot babes for liberty or whatever the hell or for freedom. And yeah, we're going to, here's a little toy for your kid. Okay. But we're going to take a picture because we're the hot babes from, it makes me want to stick my finger down my throat, grab my uvula, pull it and wax emetic like Vesuvius. Because the reality has nothing to do with the pie in the sky theory. Crypto says, you truly are my Uncle Lenny. My Uncle Sonny lives in Spring Hill, but this is exactly as having a family. Thank you. I love it. Well, thank you, sir. Spring Hill, you mean in Florida? There's a Spring Hill. There's a Florida. I think there is. So hang on, here we go. Christian says, will Biden pardon Tony Bobulinski? No, but Trump will. And I don't think, has Mr. Bobulinski been pardoned for anything? And remember, I can give you a prospective pardon. I can give you a prospective, like they did to Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was pardoned. They didn't charge him with anything. Nothing. They gave him a pardon for if they charge him with something. So a pardon can be anything that's coming up. I also wonder if there are people who you can give blanket pardons for people who haven't even been, something like perspectives, like pocket pardons. I wonder how they're filed, how they're. I'm not that familiar with the process of it, but it's an absolute sense of clemency in part that the White House enjoys. But do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what, Spring Hill, I've been there. I've been to Spring Hill. Yep. Years ago. It's like, is that not Pasco? Hang on, what county is it? I guess Pasco County. Spring Hill, Florida is Hernando County. Yep. Now, let me also bring up a couple of things too. And this is where it gets really, really tough. Really tough. And first, let me also say something. I'm going to say this again. I don't think our friend I don't think that Mike Lindell has done anything to warrant a pardon. But if they do, what this man has done, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. I can't tell you, he is one of the victims of this persecution like nobody's business. I cannot believe what they've done to him. So Christmas is around the corner. You know it's true. You're getting your stuff ready to go and all of your stuff. Make sure, my friend, make sure that you find out specifically what it is that you need and how by going to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, would satisfy your loved one, your person on your list, and it would help and secure the success and the continued profit and profitability of this great American Mike Lindell. That's simple. I mean it. What they did to him, what they did to Rudy Giuliani. Can you imagine these people? They won his 1980 Mercedes. You were really ruined by you were somehow defamed. Did you lose anything? Or did somebody just say something about you? Don't get me started with that. That's a whole nother story. It's so complicated. But I'm going to say this again for the millionth time. The Democratic Party is falling apart. The Democratic Party is falling apart. It is the most wonderful thing in the world. The Biden family, like the Clinton family, like the Obamas, are the most corrupt. The Bushes, Prescott Bush. Do this nonsense? This was they took W. And basically, they just created this joke about Project for New American Century. They brought in all they brought in Cheney, they brought in Addington, the Unitary Executive, and they had this nincompoop just signing off, took us into war, utilized, exploited our tragedy of 9/11, which is another story. So please, there are people who think that President Trump is corrupt. Why? They keep saying, well, how many, I love this when they say, well, Trump has how many, failed businesses? What failed businesses? What are you talking about? Well, he's a failed business. What failed business? You got to ask people to do this. What? Well, didn't he go bankrupt? I said, Google Glass went bankrupt. You know what reorganization is? You know what that means? 11, 13, 7, all these different. Do you know how this works? Do you know that you go into reorganization that your creditors want that? I mean, this is what you do. Eduardo Camilo, thank you, sir. So ask them, well, what exactly went bank? What are you talking about? Well, he's a convicted felon. No, he's not a convicted felon. Well, he's found guilty. He's found guilty, but he's not convicted. That's a formal adjudication, a formal finding of guilt. By the way, today is the closing arguments of the Daniel Penny case, the Marine. I don't want to predict anything, but if you don't think there's a not guilty possible with that, because everybody on that jury, lives in New York and invariably has been on the subway and knows a little bit about this. It's a different story. It's not like Trump and, but we're going to keep you up to speed with that one. But this is the thing which is the most important. Disabuse yourself of this Pollyannish stuff about corruption. It's how corrupt. Biden is not the most corrupt. Maybe, Warren Harding was. Nixon wasn't corrupt. Nixon may have been, he might have been crooked, but he's not corrupt. I mean, we get into these words, so please. There's an expression, great men don't stop at red lights. In order for you to get to certain levels of whatever, you're going to have to bend the rules a little bit. Anybody who has ever made it from Elon Musk to whatever it is has had to bend the rules. And bend the rules and breaking the rules, what are the two? I can't really tell you necessarily. But this is a fact. You know this, and I know this. Let us understand how this thing works. So President Trump, if he is smart, I hope to God, pardons himself and says, go ahead. Try your best. Try your best to find me I don't know what the word is. Try your best. How do I say this? Try your best to disable my ability to do so. Cobbs says, interesting, pardon dates back to Poroshenko's install. Yeah. That's another one too. Remember, that was Hunter. I would also, I guarantee you, believe it or not, a lot of what Biden may be looking at might be also covered by immunity as well. I know that's something which may shock you, but some of the things he did could have been made during this capacity as vice president. And that's going to be difficult for people to grasp, that one right there. So understand, the bottom line is simply this. Yes, they are the most disgusting. But what do you think about Jared Kushner's father? There's something about, this is like sniveling. Somebody cheats on taxes. Okay. I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. Somebody who maybe doesn't be, okay, maybe. But this, you set up your what? Your brother-in-law, and you try to ruin your sister's marriage? I mean, just like, Jesus, God. And this is your ambassador to France? Hey, look. Now, be honest with you. If this were Biden and you found out he did this, you would say, this is the worst of all. But if Trump does it, well, don't be like that. Don't be like that. I think I think Jared and these people are what Jared said about oceanfront or beachfront property or whatever in Gaza. I couldn't believe it. I don't like him in the least. Crypto says, never forget the nuclear football as a live grenade. Indeed. Thank you, CD. I don't like everybody in the Trump administration at all. None. I mean, some I do a lot, of course, but this isn't about me liking people. But you know and I know, if that was Biden's pick, you'd say, this is disgusting. Remember Mark Rich, who was that last minute pardon from, and his wife was the socialite and all this stuff at Clinton. That was so sleazy. It wasn't even funny. But, what are you going to do? They just kind of forgot about it. Look, it happens. Don't be so innocent as to think, that somehow it's like whenever they have, they have sports. PEDs are unfair. This isn't unfair. Sports is about unfair. Sports is unfair. It's unfair. It's all cheating. The whole cheat. You only cheat. Put it this way: you're only speeding if you get caught. You know it, and I know it. So I don't want to compare the two, but I'm saying, remember, just because you love Trump and I love Trump, that Jared is he's no good. Oh no, no, he is, he is has the likelihood. I think Trump is smarter to pull Trump into this Israel-Palestine business where Trump doesn't need to be. Because deep down inside, if I sat there with Trump and I said, let me show you something. I'm going to show you pictures. These are kids being pulled out of rubble in Gaza. Look at this. I want you to see all these. You're going to see some videos. Look at them. Look at them. Just being stacked in on top of each other. Just thrown in. Look at this. Not thrown in, but look at this. You like this? This is one of your 2,000-pound bombs. This is supposedly to get Hamas. This is bullshit. This is called depopulation. This is called ethnic cleansing. This is apartheid. Come on, man. Stop. Just stop. Look, stop it. Just say whatever you want. Do you sign on for this? No. Well, Jared wants you to do this. Are you kidding me? You're okay with this? Look at your grandkids. Aren't they cute? Imagine this. This is somebody's grandkid. You're doing it. Look, I don't want to get into that because Americans don't want to talk about it. Americans couldn't care less about Ukraine, Israel, none of that stuff. They don't care about, artificial intelligence. But I know for a fact Trump would say, this is despicable. Well, you're signing off on that, my friend. That's what you're doing. You got that? You got that? Same thing during Vietnam, when you were Agent Oranging these people walking around with all kinds of birth defects. You destroyed these people. What was that about? This was all about Dow and about Agent Orange and military-industrial complex. It was ridiculous. And we followed this nonsense about how it, this domino effect and stopping communism. Fred Pound says, no better jumpstart for the brain each day than hearing Lionel's morning musings. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. See, I have a very, it's not moral relativism. It's realism. It's the truth. This is exactly the way it is. 100%. 100%. And also where was it, honey? Belgium? Yeah. They're going to have this. They're like, the EU is doing their last. Yeah, it's a law, but it's their last gasp at trying to cement some of this woke nonsense. First law of its kind to make sex workers either unionized. What is it to have? Maternity care and a pension for hookers. Remember, they're trafficked into it. This is there is a battle going on in the world. Europe is the last. I feel sorry for our European friends. Anyway, that's another thing, Joe. That's all going away. Remember what I told you before. Remember what I told you. My job is I want to be a part of the Trump team. I don't want to go to the White House. I don't want to go to Bedminster. I don't want to go to Mar-a-Lago. I don't want to deal with these people. I only want to talk to the people. I want to be black bag stuff. I want to be legitimate, though. I want to go in there and I want to set up a psyop against the Democratic Party. I want to destroy it. And I'm going to push AOC. I'm going to have her a part of it. I'm going to have a lot of people a part of this to show them specifically how we're going to destroy this. And I want to take people like Barack Obama, Biden, Hillary Clinton, and I'm going to say, you got to start your own Democratic Party. And their next move is going to be against Pelosi and Gavin Newsom. And the third part of this is going to be AOC and the Bernie tribe and the squad. Do you see where I'm doing this? I love this. Why do I say this? Because Republicans are unified. We are unified. Everybody's on there is not the, how do I say this? The Newt Gingrich No, it's Trump. Trump owns the Republican Party. Also, pay attention for the people you don't see anymore. Watch how how Trump distances himself from, how do I say this? Distances himself from Fox News. Crypto says, I want to sign up to help. Well, you stick right here, my friend. Don't forget, follow me. Don't forget to follow this. I've got it right here. This link at the top pinned. Get the newsletter. The newsletter will tell you a lot of things, how to get jump started and how to look at what's happening here. But let me go back to what I said. This is very important and very critical. This is a whole different world right now. And watch how many times, watch what Trump knows his true friends. Trump's smarter now. He is saying, Fox News is not my friend. They never were your friend. Never. 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 Where are his people now? His people are, believe it or not, Elon and others, and the Amish, and Scott Pressler, and the black barber shops, and gays, not T's, but the LGB group. That's the ones who brought you. And Pennsylvania, and go there, and go back, find out about Springfield, Ohio, and make sure that find somebody say they were eating dogs. Don't let it go. Follow up. Use this. Also have independent organizations, independent committees or tribunals to go back and find out what exactly did you know about the assassination attempt on the president. You better get brutal. That's why I want to be a part of Black Ops. I don't want to be into this. I have no interest in this whatsoever. I'm going to say, do me a favor. Elon, yeah, we're going to set up a surprise group. We're going to push AOC some money. Have one of your straw people, I don't know how it is, if it's legal or not, send her money. I want her to promote her. Why? Because she's going to destroy the Democratic Party. Because she's a lefty. And tell her, listen, Sandy, you got to go out there. You've got to go back and you're a Bernie babe, a Bernie bro, a Bernie whatever. This is what you have to do. Do it. And that's going to screw up Gavin Newsom, screw up Nancy Pelosi. And then I want to get the word somehow to Biden, and I'm going to reach out to Biden and say, let me tell you something. I need you. Because I need you to get back at these people. And you want revenge too. That's what you want. Let's do this together. Think I'm kidding? Democratic, Republican, and people like this, there is gray in the world. There's gray. Fred Pound says, link didn't work for me. How else do I sign up for a newsletter? Hang on a minute. What is going on with this thing? I'm going to do it right now. Just a minute. Let me see something right here, my friend. I'm going to see something right here. Every now and then we got to check these things out. Link. The missing link. Just a minute. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yep, right here. Try this. I'll make it real simple for you. There we go. Try this, my friend. Right here. Try that. That's the best link right now. That's the best one. Pilgrim says, I'm pitching MAGA and I'm poking the bear baby. Indeed. Yes. There we go. Let me see one more time. Yeah. Does this work? I'm sorry. One more time for you. Yep. This is the link to subscribe. Okay. Now, first, let me thank everybody. Let me thank Crypto, of course. Pilgrim, Fred Pound. Thank you, my friend. Cobbs, Eduardo, Camilito. Christian Janice, thank you. Ryan, thank you. Timothy 1, thank you as well, and you as well for listening. Remember, don't get too crazy about this. The pardon thing works to Trump's benefit. This is not about who's corrupt and who's not. We don't worry about that. I want to win. They're all corrupt. The whole system's corrupt. But I want to get them on our side. I want to get people who were our enemies to now side with us. Okay? You got that? All right. All right, my dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. See you tonight at 7. Don't forget, sign up for Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. And we have more to talk about, so stay tuned. And remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue you. Dead.